RPO aspect of this offense?
Yeah, that's where it's at this week. Is coming from everywhere to everybody out of everything, and that's going to be the trick. And when you couple that with a tailback that can really get after it too, that makes things challenging numbers wise. But that's I think they've done a really good job of week to week putting some things together that can attack what people do in the RPO game, and that'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
What does a good RPO game slow down the defense?
I think considerably. I think it changes what you do a little bit. I think it changes how you approach things a little bit. Maybe could potentially put some apprehension in some guys that are conflicted players, and you're essentially defending two plays on every play, and that's what makes it so challenging.
Some players mentioned that the first run Iowa State had last week, the way they blocked it surprised them a little bit. What was your vantage point on that one, and how did they just spring that?
I don't know that. I think we've repped that play. I think we got maybe just a little eager. I think at the point of attack we weren't great, and we had two guys kind of run into each other on that play also, and we kind of lost our quote unquote catch player on that thing, the guy that kind of cleans everything up if it gets awry. I think potentially the speed of it was a thing that we maybe can't replicate in practice. But it was unfortunate to start the game that way, obviously.
What did you see from Wayne Jones? Played a lot of linebacker.
Wayne played a good game. Wayne was really good. We used Reggie Stubblefield in there, as you guys saw in a lot of different situations, and we kind of spelled him with Wayne a little bit. And I thought Wayne played a really good game. He was using his hands, getting off blocks. He was disruptive. He was solid in his technique. He was solid in his assignment stuff. Wayne was a pleasant surprise. We're going to continue to put more and more on his plate.
Is there anything specific just with the third down issues, or is it just, hey, we need to go make a play?
I hate to say that and kind of cop out on the players and say we need to make a play. That's not fair to them. We got to do a good job of putting those guys in positions to make plays. And no, I don't know how many things I would change. I think we just the mentality's there. I mean, it's just we are going to have to win some one-on-ones, and we're going to have to do a better job of mixing things up so that we're not putting those guys in some of those one-on-ones.
When you've had multiple breakdowns, to put it bluntly, how do you prioritize, or is it just more getting back to basics?
Referring to third down, or referring to
overall?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And when one thing I know about football is it's a confidence game, right? And when you're playing with confidence, you can really roll, and when you're not playing with confidence, you're going to struggle. And how do you get the confidence back is the question. And really, the message to the guys is the only way you get your confidence back is you go back one play at a time and play your technique. Get aligned, get your cleats in the ground, and play with technique. And just focus on your job, do your job, and trust that the people around you are going to do theirs. And just go play. Go play fast, go make plays, instead of hoping that you make it or somebody else makes it. There's a big difference in that mentality. And I think that over the past couple of weeks here, I think it's been more of, boy, I hope somebody makes a play instead of just me. Hey, I'm gonna go play. I'm gonna go make a play. And I think we put a big emphasis on that this week of just doing your job, doing your 1/11th of the piece, and seeing where letting the chips fall where they may from there.
Coach Clemens said Tuesday he wasn't sure just at that point whether Bronson would be available. Are you more hopeful that he'll be back Saturday at this point?
We'll find out more today and tomorrow probably.
What is the overall state of your defense's confidence?
On the surface, they practice really hard. They prepare really hard. They're up there all the time. I mean, they're phenomenal. I mean, the interaction that we've had with them as coaches and players is good. And they're certainly far from. They're as frustrated as I am. On the fact that big plays or third down issues. It seems like anytime you plug one hole, another one opens up, and that's been kind of the result of a number of things, people moving positions and this and that and the other. But I think the mentality is good. We just got to go out there and get some early momentum going, and if we can do that, we're going to be fine.
When you watched film of the last game, did you notice any ways you could have gotten a little bit extra pressure on the quarterback and made things harder for him?
You know, I think some of our blitzes actually came home, and he was getting rid of the ball quickly. You know, it's difficult when you take some of the pass rushers out of the game that we've you know, to do some more things with 3 guys, you know, and that's something that we were able to do a little bit early on in the year, and, you know, we haven't been able to do it as much in the last couple of weeks. In part, you know, we're not seeing as much drop back as you might think. You know, it's a lot of stuff that the ball's getting out of his hands fairly quickly, and so, you know, it's not fair to those D linemen to say, you got to get home, why aren't you getting home? Well, you know, when the ball's getting out of his hands in a second and a half, you ain't gonna get home, no matter how well you know, unless you're unblocked, even if you are unblocked sometimes. And so, you know, we're looking at a few different, you know, ramping up the pressures and doing some different things. We can get the ball out of that quarterback's hands if it is drop back.
Eli Huggins played some defensive end on Saturday. Can you kind of expect to see a little bit more of that in Lubbock?
We're trying to move people around. Yeah, won't speak to exactly where or who, but yeah, we're trying to get the pieces in the right places.
Tech wide receiver as a common number 13 presents some issues. Have you seen a guy of his size and capabilities?
He might be the best in the league, honestly. I mean, he's phenomenal range, tough to tackle when he gets the ball in his hands. Has good speed. You know, he's lights out. He's good. I was saying earlier that I think as a whole, this may be one of the best, if not the best, receiver room in the conference. I mean, it's a talented group.
What kind of progress have you seen from Columbine since a year ago?
He just has a good control of the offense. I know it's a different probably system than what he had been in at Utah State and even a year ago. Some similarities, but there's some things that are new. And I just think the more snaps you get, the more confident you're going to be. And I think that's true at any position. It's true with the number of guys that we're playing with right now on defense. And the more snaps you get, the surer you are of yourself. And he's got that seasoning.
Have they changed much what they're doing with him versus with Shuck earlier in the year at quarterback?
No, nuts and bolts, it's the same. I think you know, it was you know, early in the year, I think they were probably a lot, you know, trying to establish what their identity was going to be too. You know, they're starting to settle into a few things. Don't know if that's a quarterback or if that's just what the progression of it naturally is.
Sorry about that. I was going to say just how maddening has been the last 2 games when both the quarterbacks you know, that you're facing go 22 or 25.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that
Well,
up.
I mean, just say the
yeah,
facts.
no, it's frustrating. It is, and again, some of those throws are you know, check downs and whatever. That's what it's going to be. It's frustrating when you get contested throws that are getting completed at the rate that they are, and you know. Again, we've got to go back to our technique. We've got to go back to getting these guys in positions where they can make those plays and being comfortable so they can play fast. We've got a good group of guys and we can make those plays.
Sorry. How much is it the need to play faster on defense, and is that kind of a product of being a little bit newer to the scheme?
I think for sure it is. You know, I think it's always, you can go back to your base, you know, and we have a base, you know, but we're probably not as far along in our base as you know, if you were year 2, year 3, you know, a couple of springs into it, a couple fall camps into it, where you can just say, hey, I've seen that scenario before, and we're not there right now. And so sometimes the nut cutting rules and principles that we have aren't maybe as sure in guys' minds as they need to be.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks.